On our channel, we are on a journey to discover everything we can about the food and the food culture of Hawaii. Check out our videos on Kalua pig, poke, and more. This is Eat and Be Eaten Hawaii. Aloha.
Alright guys, today we are going to show you how to make your own Char Siu pork recipe at home. So Char Siu is marinated roasted pork, and it's marinated with Chinese 5-spice, which is made up, as you can see here, of whole cloves, cinnamon, star anise, fennel seeds, and also Szechuan peppercorns. The 5-spice is mixed with a combination of soy sauce, honey, hoisin sauce, and some kind of rice wine vinegar, and it creates a rich, sticky marinade. It also has a red color that nowadays is often used with red food coloring, but traditionally comes from a prepared red bean fermented paste. Because of the spices in the hoisin sauce, Char Siu is sweet. It's also got a dry heat from the peppercorns and a licoricey flavor from the star anise, as well as saltiness from the hoisin and the soy sauce. For the purposes of an easy homemade recipe, you can use pre-made jarred Char Siu sauce for marinating and roasting your pork. Like any roast meat recipe, fattier cuts are the best to use, so either pork butt, pork shoulder are really good, and you want to cut it in half like I did here, or even lengthwise, and then marinate that pork in your sauce. Since I'm using out of the jar the pre-made, I don't have to do anything to it. Just roll around my pork in the marinade, and then I'm going to let it sit for 48 hours until 2 days later the time for roasting begins. The long marinating period will be worth it to allow the flavors to get into that pork and make for a delicious end product. Make sure you give it at least 24 hours though, covered and into the refrigerator.
Okay, so once the time comes to roast your pork, this has been marinating now for 48 hours. You're gonna get a piece of tin foil line the bottom of a pan. Then we're gonna set the pork on here so the heat can get underneath and cook through evenly. Take the pork, let the excess marinade drip off. We're gonna baste it as we take it out of the oven with the marinade. For now, one piece, and we left the skin on so that fat can render as it cooks. Let that drip off and on.
I am going to keep the oven on 350 degrees Fahrenheit for the entire cook. The first round will be 30 minutes in the oven. So now back to the Char Siu. After 30 minutes in the oven, again at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, we take the roast pork out and we're going to flip it and baste it with more of our Char Siu marinade, and then put it back in the oven for an additional 30 minutes. So we're now going to be up to a total of 1 hour in the oven when this stage is done. At that point, we take back out of the oven. We're going to continue to baste the pork with the Char Siu sauce, flip it one more time, so now it's back to its original position, baste again, and back into the oven for 20 minutes. While we do that, we're going to mix a little bit of honey into our marinade, and after the 20-minute mark, we're going to take the pork out one more time, and we're going to give it a final baste with that honey marinade combination. And once that final baste is done, we're going to go into the oven again for an additional 10 minutes, and then we're going to take the Char Siu out, and it will be, pow, it'll be ready. So that's 1.5 hours or 90 minutes total of roasting time in the oven for our Char Siu pork. You can see the nice blackened edges. The marinade has reduced to a crispy, lovely consistency, and after letting it rest, we can slice into our Char Siu. The spices in the Char Siu give a bit of a Vietnamese pho broth quality. And you can use this in so many ways. Check out our homemade sai min. That's a Hawaii noodle soup recipe that you can add char siu to. Great way to use it. Alright, if you enjoyed this recipe and you want to see more, click the subscribe, and we will see you next time here on Eat and Be Eaten Hawaii. Aloha.